Hi everyone, welcome to Search Online Academy. This is Iseko Chimana. Today we are going to talk about classes and objects in Java. But first of all, I have to give a special thanks to my lecturers. If you don't know me, I'm a student at the Bindra University of Science Education. I didn't start programming at A level at the high school or ordinary level, but I studied it at the university level. So I have to give my special thanks to my lecturer, especially Mr. San, who introduced me to C language as well as C++ language, and Mr. Chikwiro, who introduced me to Java programming. So today we're going to look on classes and objects in Java. You have to take serious in classes and objects. Why am I saying so? Because you are going to, whenever you're going to write any code in Java, obviously it is going to fall under class or and methods, which is a method is going to be in a class or as well. And that method, obvious, it is going to be in a behavior of an object. So you have to understand the concept of objects and class, because Java is an object-oriented programming. So and it is class-based. So if you don't understand what are classes are they and the objects are they, obviously you are going nowhere. So take this lecture seriously, okay? So objects is just an instance of a class or a copy of a class, okay? So it's like the description of a what, of a class. For an example, in real world you can have a dog as a what, as an object. Even you, a human, you are just an what, you as a student or as a person, you are just an what, an object, right? So an object can have a state and a behavior. You can have a state and what, and the behaviors. What are states? Like when I talk about the states, it's like it can be like a color, right, or a name, like a breed. For example, if it is a dog, you can have a German Shepherd, okay, a German Shepherd, which means this one, this is its states, right? And then if we are talking about a behavior, a dog can bark, right? This is the what, the behaviors. So an object can have all these things, a states and what, and a behavior, okay? So here we have a summary of what an object is and what does it have, okay? So here you see guys, an object, um here an object can have what, can have data members. What are data members? Data members, guys, these are just variables or instance of a class, okay? And we can call them instances, not instance of a class, but instance variables, I mean, okay? So what does it mean to say we have got data members here in Java? We say these are data members. What I'm trying to say, I'm saying we say these are data members, and these ones we find them uh, just on the top of your class or outside any board, okay? Yeah, outside any board, but just inside your class. These are called what, instance variables, or we call them what, data members, right? So the variable types and the names same across all instances. The members of each object can hold different values. What does this mean? It means like you as a student or as a person, you have got your name, okay? You have got maybe if you're a student, you've got your student registration number, which is unique, which is your own what, registration number, right? So the state of an object is defined by these values, you see. So these values are the ones which defines what, the state of an object, okay? Like if you can talk of your complexion, right, all those things. And then here in methods, these are the behaviors or the tasks that an object what, can perform, okay? If we take an example of a dog can bark. So we can have a method where a dog can what, can bark, all right? You are going to see all these things, guys, when you are doing what, practical, right? So here I'm moving on the next slide. So here we are going to talk about the classes in Java. What are classes in Java, guys? The classes are just a description of a what, of an object, right? This is an abstract description of of an object, because the object, what is the contents, or what an object can hold, are the things that we find in a class, right? So here's an example of a class. Here we have got an example of a class. We have a class dog, okay, and then the description of a dog goes here. That's where we describe what the dog here. So here are some objects of that class. Okay, here we have got some objects of a dog. You see this dog guy, you see, you've got so many different types of what, of object, of what, of a dog, or different types of what, of an object, okay, or of an instance of a what, of a dog. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Classes contain data definitions. These data definitions are the ones that we are referring back there when we talk about objects as a data, what, as data members. These ones is data members. So these are the data definitions which describe the state of a what, of an object. So class describes the data held by each of its what, of its object, right? So here you see these are the data members. I've already told you that you find them just outside any body, but just in a what, in a class. Like here, you just find them just after the first block, after the opening block of a what, of our class what, dog. All right. Then here class can contain what, methods. Here guys, in a Java, you have to know that the main concept here in Java is of classes and objects. All right. So in classes we use methods just to put together the lines of code that we need to execute. Okay, so a class may contain methods that describe the behavior of of objects. I think I've already elaborated on all these, on the behavior of objects. What are the behavior of an object? I've already told you that these are the tasks that the object what can do. Okay, so here for example, we can have a class dog with a method, okay, or the behavior of a dog. For example, for instance here, void bug, this is a method guys, this is a method of class what, dog, because it is just inside this class. Okay, so that's how you declare, that's how you write a what, a method in Java, and this is a void method. Okay, going to have a separate video where we'll be talking about methods. Okay, so here class always contain constructors. Okay guys, there's no way that we can talk about classes and then leave the concept of constructors. Why? Because wherever you write your Java program, right, the whenever you create your object, there is a constructor which is going to run before you create that object, or as soon as you create that what, that object. And we normally use the constructors to initialize, to give initial values to our data members, to our what, to our variables. Okay, so here a constructor is a piece of code that constructs or creates a new object, a new object of that class. If you don't write a constructor, Java defines one for you behind the scenes, which means if you don't write any constructor, which means Java is going to give to run the default constructor, okay, that it have for that object that you created. So you can write your own constructors in what way. So we are going to have a separate video guys. When I'm going to do a video of methods, that's where you are going to find these constructors. All right, but here we have got an example here of this one. It's a constructor, that's your constructor. You find just it, normally we put the constructor just below the data members, and it must have a name just as the class, and it doesn't return any type. Like here you don't have a void, int, or what, you just have the name of the class, and then here you can put arguments, or you can put parameters on just here as many as you want. I'm not going deeper into constructors guys. I'm going to have a different video, a separate video. Okay, so I have to say thank you guys. So let's dive into our practical yeah, let's dive into our practical.
Okay, so okay, let me create a new project here. New project. Okay, and I'm going to name it just like mm, classes and objects, and then I want to have a class called test.java. This is my public class or my controller class. Okay, so let's wait for this computer to create our project. But guys, here the thing that I mean, what are we going to do in this practice? I'm going to create a class and
I'm going to show you numbers, and I'm going to show you um the methods. Okay, and I'm going to create an object. That's our goals that we have to achieve in this practical lesson. So here guys, this is our class. This is what we call a class. Here you see that we have got the public key. You have this public, this one you call it these are the access level. Okay, this is an access level in a Java, which is a, okay, it can be public, private, or what we are not going to talk about this, because I think there's some that we have to cover all these access levels. Okay, normally when you are talking about inheritance and everything, that's where we normally include all this order. So here you use the keyword class to create a class. You use what? A keyword class. And then here you use, here is the name of the class, right? It's its name is what? It's test. Okay, so here that's where you put, okay, yeah, that's where you put your instance variable or the data members. Okay, or those instance variable that we were talking about, that we were talking as what? As the states that we're describing as the states of an object. Okay, so for an example, let me take this class as a class of student. Let me change this to student. Okay, okay, here it is going to throw an error. Rename this one to student. Okay, so here I'm going to, like a student can have a name. Okay, so string name, um, string id, you've got your id number or a registration number. Okay, so these are the what? These are the instance variable or data members. Okay, so here we can create our object. Just you can create our object of a student class. How do we create an object? How do we declare an object? Okay, so you use the name of a class like student, then a reference variable must be equal to, you use the keyword new, a new student. Okay, then the parenthesis. Then so when you do this, you are now we have created a student object. Okay, with a reference variable s, which means that this this object that we've created have got all these instance variable. Okay, like if I want to access all these one, I can say s dot, using the dot operator. You see I've got the id, and then I can initialize it. Maybe let me say Ezekiel, that's my name. Okay, you see, oh no, this is the id. Let me put like 123. Also I can say s dot name. Okay, and let me initialize it to what? To Ezekiel. You see, these are my values, or yeah, I can say these are my values, and I can have another a object of this class, another student object, because maybe you are in a class. You cannot have just a class with Ezekiel only, with Ezekiel only. You can have a class with so many students, so you can create as many student objects as you like. Here I can create another student object, okay, like a student, let me say s2 is equal to new student, okay. So which means I can use this reference variable s2 as my student, student 2, okay. So id, let me put another string there, let me put 1 2 4, and then s2 dot name, then I can put talk more, okay. That's good. So here if I print this is out, I want to print the details for the first student, okay. So if I use a dot id, then plus, this is string concatenation guys, then I use a plus there, then I'll put, sorry, let me say, I'll put s dot name. It is going to print the id and the name, okay. So let me run this program. You're going to see that it is going just to give us the output is my id and what, and my name, okay. Okay, come on, and you are going to see that these are the values, or these are the unique values of mine. So okay, you see here guys, it printed the just 1 2 3 and then Ezekiel, which means these are what, these are my details, okay. Then if I say this s2 dot id, and then I'm going to put s2 dot name, okay. And if I run this again, you are going to see that it is going to print the details of mine and those of students, of the other student with the name talk more. So this will only tell us that any object can have its own unique values. That's the point guys. An object can have its own unique value. Like you can have your name, your surname, and a unique registration number, okay. But we are all under the same class, we are all humans, we are all students, right? But each and every student can have what, can have his or her own what, his or her own details, or on particular, you see. So that's the point, guys. So here I have used this reference variable and this reference variable, s1 here and s2, to have what, to have two students, okay. So here you can have some methods. Normally we put methods under the main method. Let me say public void, which means it is not going to turn anything. A public void print details, okay. You see, this is the method guys, that this is the one that we describe as the behavior of a class, okay. So here we can print all these details, we can print them. Oh, we are going to have one problem here guys. When I'm doing this, I know that these reference objects, because here are marked static guys, so I cannot use them just outside this method, and they are local variables. So maybe I have to do what, Maybe I have to create a global variable here, and then here I'll be using them just inside this method, because this is a static method. So this is our challenge with this kind of example. But I can take this one, okay, out of the static method. I'll put them just outside here. Okay, here we are going to have non-static cannot be referenced from a static context. Okay, so I can mark this one static, I can mark this one static, then I will be able to reference it. But because this one is not a static, public static void, let me mark this one also static. Okay, to solve this, I'm not going to talk about this, but what you have to only know is that a static variable is just a class variable. It doesn't belong to any object. So we can mark the object also to be static, so that it can be a class type. Okay, I think that's all that you have to know. So if I invoke this method, like here, if I say, just I have to say print details, because it is a class method, so I don't have to use any object to invoke this method. So if I run this, you are going to see that this method is going to print all these details that we have in here. You see, we have this output. Okay, like this one is also printing these two lines, and this one is also printing the other two lines. That's why we have 4 lines here, guys. So which means our methods are the behaviors. Like this, why do we say methods are the behavior? Because you see, it is printing. Okay, this is a behavioral state. Okay, but the data members are just what? Are just the data definitions. They describe your values. Okay, so I think that's all that I can tell you about what? About the classes and objects in Java. So I have to say thank you guys for watching my video. So keep supporting me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and